I belong to the bed.
You're listening and watching, hopefully, to Technolotics, week number 19. With me, I'm Jason McCandless, and with me is Gareth Stack.
Francis McGuilicuddy.
And
Sarah Fortune.
headlines this week. Or do we do headlines anymore?
No!
We never do headlines anymore. Okay.
We have no
First story then.
First story. Police State Miami. Okay, what's happening in Miami is that the police there are convinced Al-Qaeda have them on the hit list. We're going to hit Miami. They're coming for you. Obviously, like, Osama visited and didn't like it there. Or he hates Will Smith. And he hates that song. Anywho, to confuse Al-Qaeda and other wannabe terrorists, they decided to do shows of force. So, let's get lots of cops on the street walking around, because that will confuse people. It's certainly confusing me. So they're also carrying out random spot checks and just stopping people and asking for IDs and such things.
Is that constitutional?
That's the thing. I believe, well, I know in this country that for certain things the guards can stop you if they have suspicion that you've carried out a crime or something like this.
Right.
Question
Like
is,
that time you stole Xbox 360, Francis.
I acquired.
It's only resting in my account.
Yeah, it's only resting in my bedroom before I move it on
In the States,
to its rightful home.
in the States, this stuff's like completely unconstitutional.
Yeah.
But there's some disagreement over whether, according to the Washington Post, they're only going to stop people who look suspicious or whatever. But according to Associated Press, they're going to stop everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So that means you're going to have like compulsory ID. You're going to have to carry with you everywhere.
I guess.
Sure,
just like
I guess.
if you go to the bank or whatever.
You're going to have that in England soon, aren't they?
They're bringing in national ID, which is great, because you'll never get confused as to who you are.
Yeah,
It's in
exactly.
your pocket. Oh, that's me.
Oh my, yeah, exactly. Because amnesia can strike at any time. Who are you? Hold on. I don't remember my name, but I remember where my ID card is.
I'm so much prettier than I remember.
Yeah, is that really me? Because I don't remember what I look like. Someone get me a mirror.
So this seems like a really cheesy and
It
ridiculous...
seems like a ridiculous way to try and, first of all, prevent terrorism in any way.
probably just justify budget increases for the police departments in question.
It gives them budget increase, and it also gives them a valid excuse to search anyone they want. Because they'll go, okay, we think he's a drug dealer, but let's just accuse him of being a terrorist. And
That hot blonde could be a terrorist.
We need to have her down. You just jumped straight for that, didn't you?
I'm just thinking like a police officer. Come on.
Gareth's gonna be filling out the Gareth form. Yeah, we'll bring this in. So I think it's just they're using terrorism as an excuse to bring in draconian laws and give the guards and the police a long leash, and they can do what they want.
Does that mean they'll have dragons?
Maybe.
Riding those dragons.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Who needs a panda when you can have a dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, random mad.
Panda? What?
Cars, panda cars, black and white.
I've never heard that.
Okay.
We're supposed to ended in the 80s, so.
Okay, moving on
To
to our second story,
second story,
which is... Oh, I guess it's me, because you want to do the fun one? Okay. Fun one. This is me. Science is under attack. Guard your science.
Yeah, maybe those police in Miami can defend science.
Yeah, we could get them all
while
together.
walking around the streets.
Keep science
It's like,
in a circle.
We're
and
protecting
pass
you.
them around by cigar.
We're protecting science and the American way of life. Yeah.
So science is being attacked according to the returning head of the Royal Society, which is the kind of main scientific body in the United Kingdom.
It's the oldest, isn't it?
Yeah,
Scientific society in the world.
I think he was the head of it, and Darwin and all the rest of it. So they're kind of speaking out against deniers. I nearly said Holocaust deniers. Jeez. Climate change deniers. I'm sure he thinks Holocaust deniers are garbage. But climate change deniers, because climate change is of course a reality, And yeah, in the United States and in other places. In fact, there's a science fiction author, the guy who wrote Jurassic Park.
Michael Crichton.
Michael Crichton has in fact written a book about the climate change not happening. He believes it's all, it's based on models which are inaccurate and there's too little evidence. So basically the head of the Royal Society has said, like, this is crazy, we have to stand up against this kind of stuff. The threat of climate change, loss of biodiversity, and the re-emergence of like diseases which have died out due to antibiotic resistance and stuff is all a reality. So
also, I guess evolution would come into it with the like teaching of creationism.
that's something else he's talking
Still
about
in
too.
the US.
Like there's fundamentalism arising basically on both sides. He says, like, on one side you have your anti-evolutionists, climate change, driving their huge SUVs and laughing as they read their Bible.
Yeah.
And on the other side you have like don't build any more nuclear power stations because they're really bad for the flowers and the squirrels.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Screws it in the protest.
Well, those are extremes, yeah.
Those are extremes. So like, but this is kind of ironic because in the same week that they're being all kind of like, defend science and freedom and stuff, they're also speaking out against free and open access science journals. So the Royal Society have said,
Boingboing hate this, don't they?
oh, they certainly do.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Just when you're trying to, when you're in college and you're trying to find out something and someone's written a paper and you're like, oh, excellent, read it. No.
No, I need $30.
$30 just to read someone's research.
Which might need to be what you
find out
need.
what their results were and all this. It's just ridiculous.
So for anyone who
Hate it.
hasn't done research, like academic journals publish like what's called an abstract, which is like a short synopsis of a piece of research, and oftentimes it's free to read the whole thing. Other times it's not, and you have to pay literally just to read some research. So it's like science that costs cash.
Yeah, but it also, like, if you're trying to do a project or something like this, it makes it hard because you can't build on someone else's work. You can properly reference them and say, yeah, I got this from here, but you have to start from scratch every time, which means it's more work for you and less chance of making any new discoveries or doing anything with it.
Well, it doesn't really affect us because who reads more than an abstract anyway?
Yeah.
For proper researchers, it's
Proper
expensive.
research
What if
makes
it's not
it
even what you're looking for?
that's the thing.
Exactly.
You don't know until you read it.
You don't
Yeah.
know until you've read it, and it might be useless, or they might have done it in a way you mightn't have thought of that doesn't apply to what you're doing.
Or what if the abstract's really good and the paper is just like, haha, you bought this?
Enjoy it later. Yeah.
Yeah. I got my PhD. I don't care. I can produce any kind of crap.
It's kind of like going into a shop and instead of seeing all the nice bars in front of you that you could possibly, it just says Cadbury's bar and it could be like a Kid Kat or something
Surprise!
wild like that.
Yeah, or it could be a Mars Delight. Ew.
They're good.
They're great. Those ones
Oh,
with the
wow.
Those are the
Good.
those are the most fattening, nasty things going.
Oh no, they're good. They're good.
No, they're horrible.
They're not
Just feel the
they're
arteries
crispy
clogging.
and Mars.
Yeah, they're
and
good.
Chewy and sucky and.
what?
Just
The neighbor
leave
chewing
I'll just
ours.
leave you three to share Mars Delight stories. Oh, it was so good. And there was this time I was at home and I was alone and yeah, I had a moment.
You're turning me on right there.
Okay.
Moving on to our next story. Well, Jesus, we're shooting through the show. I haven't done 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This story is Dvorak, or as Gareth says, Dvorak.
You said that. I said
I've never
Dvorak.
said that.
Dvorak.
Anyway, Dvorak on Dead Media. He says that DRM is causing, will cause dead media in the future because we won't be able to access the formats of today. What if, like, GIF had been enforced more strongly? And what if JPEG had been DRM'd? We could never get this stuff in the future because DRM doesn't run out. And I think there's like a solution that someone on the forum mentioned, that you could have the DRM essentially not valid after a media is not used anymore.
Yeah.
Which, it's okay, but I mean, you could say, like, movies from like 30 years ago that people are still making money from, you can, and or on maybe an old format, you could get money off that. Or you could like steal those essentially. You know what I mean?
Actually, that happens with arcade machines because they all have like the built-in chips containing the actual game, but the like manufacturers still hold the copyright on the game and won't release it even though they've stopped making money from it like 30 years ago.
So just in case, in some point in the future, they can sell it again,
Yeah.
they're like holding on to it. But he's not just talking about DRM. He's talking about like all these kind of obsolete and like even before DRM came out, companies would make their own quirky like cable or strange file format so that other companies couldn't, like they'd be like trade secrets and other companies couldn't use these formats.
Yeah.
So there's all these like old DAT tapes and cassette tapes, like Betamax tapes, or like memory sticks, like the Sony Magic Stick or whatever
Oh yeah.
it's called, which are so useless and he can't access. And he's running into this problem because he's got all this free stuff that he gets because he's a tech columnist and he can't access his old devices. Poor Dvorak.
He gets no old. No.
You're going somewhere nasty with that.
He gets no dead media.
He gets no whatever. But yeah, like somebody suggested on the forums, there's a few different suggestions. Some of them are really, really like clever. One was that like if a company doesn't use a given copyright or patent for 5 years.
Yeah, I love that idea. That's a brilliant idea.
The only difficulty though is if you're a small inventor and if you patent something and it doesn't get picked up for 5 years.
Yeah, you might have. You could have a like long development time to get things up and going. So I mean, 5 years could be a long time. Some people don't get things together. Like you could be fighting for years.
But it's like one solution to the problem of companies holding these patents that they're not doing anything with.
Yeah, they're just
ridiculous.
Well, they're going
They're
to run
holding
out
back.
in 20 years anyway.
20 years is a long time though.
And that's just
Like
software
20
patents.
years.
Patents for other kinds of stuff can last an awful lot.
I'll be
longer.
dead in 20 years.
You'll be
Dead,
dead.
you're planning, you have kind of plans. Like, yeah, I plan to be dead, yeah, rotten.
I'm gonna kill you.
Well,
right
like,
after the
I
show.
don't know, I don't want to be 40.
You don't want
That's
to be
okay. You'll never get there.
worried. Gareth guarantees it.
I guarantee it. Hopefully, no one watching from Miami law enforcement. Dear my terrific plans.
You
Yeah,
taking me
they'll
to
come with their
Miami?
dragons. Burn you.
The Dragon Squad.
The Dragon Squad. Yeah, the porn squad leading behind. Porn squad. Porn squad.
So one of the other interesting things on the forums as well. Of,
Enduring future?
no, well, I think that's lame, but you know.
It's cool,
That's
like,
enduring future.
you can print a book on essentially metal pages.
So you can keep a record of your exciting life
Oh,
of
yeah.
metal pages.
Your
Apparently,
family's...
one of the most durable ways to store loads of information is like on microfilm, because you like never need anything more expensive than a magnifying glass to read it, and apparently it lasts for like hundreds of years.
Interesting. Also, you can chip it into a giant stone wall.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, why not just do it a big rock? Just go old school. Tug, tug, hug. Me hug. Me like rocks.
They probably just,
The end.
the reason they said oak was because it was
Ooh.
easy to knock it into the
Ooh.
stone.
Ooh,
Two letters.
Tiger. Bugger.
One of the other interesting things is somebody's worked out like kind of not an equation but like all of the factors that go into making this stuff obsolescent. So like he reckons it's a function of how closed it is, how widespread it is, because if more people are using it then it'll last longer. How many vendors produce it, how physically durable it is. And so
Yeah.
like the length and breadth is how he describes it. So like length is like duration and breadth, popularity. So like all of these things are getting worse because you got this really high quick up turnover. Like
Yeah.
the distance between DVD coming out and HD DVD or whatever is much shorter than between CD and tape or whatever.
Yeah.
And also you got DRMs, that's just becoming more closed. You have quick upgrade cycles and you have like more unstable media. It's like hard disks as they get like what heavier storage, they get like more imprecise because they're reaching into the fundamental limits of magnetic storage.
Well, a hard drive
Well,
is
you get like
Yeah.
cosmic rays corrupting your files and
that's
stuff.
it's so crazy.
Cosmic
The
rays.
more intense the storage gets,
Yeah, it's
the
like-
more easily it is. to
Well,
destroy.
don't want to go
It's
down to
stored
my
in such a
bunker
small
because
area.
fecking cosmic rays. You're like, no more porn. Cosmic rays ruined my life.
Damn you, Cosmic Ray!
Cosmic ray.
Goddamn
Yeah,
Cosmic
that's
Ray.
fine. Cosmic ray. He's a bastard.
Kick his ass.
Kill you, Cosmic ray.
And CDs as well, they only last like 20 years.
No, and not even if you burn a CD, CDRs only last
They're
like
worse,
5 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on the
So, I
quality
mean,
of the CD.
it's getting worse for people because they're wondering whether they should invest in any kind of these formats because they change so fast. And it's like, you know, when people first CD stuff came out, people had like huge record collections and they were very slow to change over because they put so much money and time into building up their record collection, and then it was change over to these things, and now it's MP3s and God knows what'll be next week.
An MP3 is like a lossless format. They've talked about this a lot actually in
No,
digital
they're
live
lost.
No,
TV.
it's
lost E, that's what I mean, sorry. So like, you're just throwing out data there.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Well, it's
Toss
something
it
you're
out.
never going to use because you can't hear it.
Yeah,
so-
Well,
yeah, the stuff you
You
heard.
can actually hear like a lot of it, especially with good like sound systems. You're missing out a lot of the bass.
Yeah, like I
Even,
suppose
even with 192, I think.
I guess in 20 years time when we all have like infinite like storage and infinite network speeds and surround sound, it'll be like damn MP3s, they ruined our sound experience.
Yeah, they ruined our hearing probably.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, wasn't there something... Did we do that before about headphones with MP3 players
Yeah.
are causing...
Yeah, that was a
Ear
dumbass
damage.
story. That was like any headphones will cause hearing damage if you raise the volume.
Yeah,
It's not like
Yeah.
MP3 can go into your ear and damage your brain.
yeah.
Fraunhofer.
Yeah.
Him and Cosmic Ray. That's all our big stories. My God, we're shooting through them this week.
Shooting through them.
But we have little stories. Do you want to tell us some little stories, sir?
Alright, so the first little story.
for a girl.
Oh, I find that offensive.
I know. I find it offensive too. That's why I said it.
Lots of people find Gareth offensive.
Yep.
That's true.
Anyway, ATI claims they're going to speed up video encoding 5 times, and it's going to be using an encoding tool called Xcode, and it's going to use the graphics processing unit on their X1000 series. And this is just like an example of how much you can speed things up when you move it like from software like directly into hardware, so it can be like optimized. And
It'll be handy for us anyway.
Oh my God.
It'd
Yeah.
So handy.
Yeah, there's a major
We can go for
problem
the
even-
3-hour epic. Technolotics.
The movie.
The movie. Coming soon.
Starring Cosmic Ray.
Yeah, like all these vidcasts out here at the moment, like Digital Life TV, Dignation, I'm sure. Well, Dignation only have one format, and so do we. But if you want to get multiple formats, you're gonna like have a few days release cycle, and it's just like I think H.264 on a PC takes around 20 hours on a high-end system.
So, divide that by 5. It's
Although if
great.
you got a Power Mac G5, it's a lot less.
I love Mac porn for you, Jason. I reckon this is just like, this is, as you said, Sarah, this is what happens when you turn software into hardware. And like when they finally manage to like completely like virtualize all the software stuff into hardware that they do with software rendering for like movies like Toy Story and Final Fantasy and
Yeah.
stuff like that. When you have these whole render farms filled with like the latest GPUs, you'll have stuff like movies being rendered in like a day or two, or effects for like full
Yeah.
live action movies being done in real time and stuff like that, which is
Yeah.
totally revolutionary.
That'd be cool, but I think there's certain limits to how much you can move to hardware, and it's really difficult, and I'm sure it'd be shit expensive as well.
I think the main problems at the moment is just the drivers.
well, it's going to be mass produced, like
Yeah.
expense is going to be a problem.
Processing
Yeah.
just goes down on a curvilinear. What's the curve? It's an exponential curve. Yeah, because like the price of processing goes down exponentially. So it's like even if it seems ridiculous now, 5 years time it's gonna be like nothing.
Reasonable. If not
Do you mean Moore's Law? Well, that's gone now.
Well, more so isn't gone. It's gone in terms of raw processor speeds, but it's not gone in terms of actual
Price? Okay.
gigaflops to price.
Okay.
Still dropping.
Cool.
Well, next one. Our Google blogger weekly story is Google Space. The Google boutique store, which opened in Heathrow, which is meant to be a showcase of Google's services and products. Or they don't have products. Maybe they will.
Yeah,
They're
well,
But they have services.
Yes.
Oh, do they sell? Do they sell those?
they do. They sell
They
like
make this
t-shirts
one
and
to me.
stuff.
Ah, I see.
You see, they don't know how to make money, Google. It's all adverts and
They
free
do sell
stuff.
t-shirts, and the adverts are making shitloads of money out of that.
It's true. This is true.
Why do you think they've got an over $400 stock price that some people have been making loads of money off?
Cha-ching!
Yeah.
So if you have the money, buy some shares in Google, or don't. Maybe it's too late. Maybe
It's too late, definitely.
It's too late.
They're overvalued, I think.
It's too late for the big money, certainly.
Actually, on Google blog today, there was a woman speaking about how she got a job in Google because she wrote into them saying, "Well, I'm a technician and I love tech," and then she said, "I have a Google T-shirt and I love it so much I wear it all the time and I want another T-shirt," and they gave her a job.
Yeah, you can't have a t-shirt. You're getting a job instead. Now get to work. Yes, sir.
Did they have a picture of this girl? Just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Was she-
I bet she was
Well,
like,
she was pretty hot.
yeah.
Really hot.
Ah, no, I've heard that story as well. That
What are you saying?
that happens in so many tech companies. It's just like, hi there, right? Hi, here's a photo of me. I know nothing about computers. Ding!
You're
Job
the
straight
German
away.
news secretary.
You're saying Laurie and Sergey are unethical?
I'm saying
I'm not
that
saying
they might
that.
do a Team England if they could get the chance.
I'm saying if
The
there's
term
not...
is spin roasting for those of you who don't. Moving on to our next little story.
Actually, one more thing in Google, I think they're moving away from their coolness that they once had when they were a private company. It's all about making profit these days. They've moved up. They've got the traditional double click advertising methods these days. They have banner ads. They're about to get flash banner ads.
Banner ads? Good.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
way.
they do. They have image ads. They also have like shitty spam kind of print ads now as well.
What?
Yeah.
How can you have a spam print ad?
Well, it's not spam, but you know what I mean. It's that kind of junk, kind of trashy advertisement that it's just like shit.
A harsh criticism from Jason there. No job for you in Google. You're not
Exactly.
printing up anything. So DVD John at it again
DVD John?
with his interface for iTunes.
Yeah, he's released a free interface to iTunes for Linux, and it's like it uses the .NET framework. I'm not sure why, but it also
.NET
uses
for Linux.
yeah. I guess it must be
Mono.
Mono, yeah, it's Coco's Mac. But it also uses GTK, so it looks good, and it's got all the features. You can redeem like Pepsi vouchers and all that kind of iTunes malarkey.
It'll work for about a
Pepsi
week
vouchers.
and until it's killed by the next version of iTunes. But it's a cool.
Well,
story.
it would the next version of iTunes essentially kill it, because do not all versions of iTunes still work with the servers?
No,
Really?
No.
you have to.
You have to update.
Yeah, well, they constantly
Wow.
update it because like John cracked it before, Jan with JM, and like straight away it was Jan left, yeah. And they they had I don't know actually, I'm just talking in my ass, but I don't think the old versions would work. It couldn't, because then they wouldn't be able to deal with stuff like this.
Okay then.
Damn.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
But do you know, does it let you use your iPod with Linux as well, or is it just purely for the iTunes store?
Well, I think you can use your iPod with Linux anyway.
Sort of, maybe, if you can.
Sorry,
Well, if you
maybe
use a
no.
special program, it works.
Use it?
No, it does work if you use a special program, but it will work.
I don't know, because like, I had like Windows 98 and I was using my iPod on it for a long time, and no comments. And like, there's lots of programs that are supposed to work, and none of them really do. They all like corrupt the iPod database eventually. Which
yeah,
iTunes
but
does too.
Linux isn't Windows 98.
That's true, it is. That's a good observation there, Jason, because I wasn't quite sure.
Well done.
I'm on the ball today.
Yeah.
So, another short story.
Another short story is Engaget has a short little story on how you can stream anything with VLC around your home.
Yeah, it's interesting. People are still only discovering VLC. I think I found it almost 2 years ago now, and I've been using it to play everything ever since.
Yeah, you showed it to me. I had never seen it before. It's really not well known at all.
Yeah,
No,
every
it's-
couple of weeks it'll like get digged, and people are like, "Wow, I've never seen this before." Like,
And everyone's
And
on
you're
Linux
like,
as well.
yeah,
No,
it's
the-
multi-platform. Like, come out of your rock, people.
But I think it possibly maybe it's because the interface is just so bad. That's
Yeah.
No, but
it's
it's completely
pretty
non-bloated.
basic.
It's
Wait,
yeah,
it
but
doesn't
it's
even
so fast.
It doesn't even have a playlist.
yeah.
It does have a playlist. When version 0.82 got a playlist.
But when you turn it off and turn it back on again, it defaults to the default theme and no playlist.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
It's a sucky interface, dude.
It's pretty
terrible.
basic.
I like the way it's so fast. To be honest, I use it all the time. If you want like your
You'd
place
like it if it was
I
command
don't
line,
know,
though.
use like. Well, I use MPlayer if I want to use command line. MPlayer is just as good.
No, I'm there's the shit.
But maybe also people think that VLC is just for streaming, because when I saw it first, I saw it a few years ago as well, and I just thought, oh, that's just for streaming around your home.
Yeah,
It's
on
not
their
media
site,
player.
all the big advertisements are like streaming media.
Yeah, that's actually why I tried it the first time.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why people haven't found it.
Who
So if
knows?
you're listening to VLC, man,
Yeah.
and
Person.
woman, and person, of non-gender specific,
Armed alien being.
change your focus to advertising your excellent media capabilities.
And
Yeah.
artificial intelligence in the future, possibly this index in old media on the web.
Yeah.
With VLC.
What?
No, we're talking like to. Well, it could be AI in the future looking at this video like.
Oh my god, we could be talking to the future. Well, technically we are. Always.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving
We're
on.
talking about physical here.
Let's get metaphysical. So we got a story about your friend, or friend of a friend, Jason.
Yeah, friend of a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not Jason.
It's
A
not
friend
you.
of a friend had this blog, and he had a lot of hardcore drug posts on it. Stuff like how to inject heroin and which ones are you looking at?
I was looking at the tweaking of methamphetamine injections and other fun things.
Right, so he had this, and
As you do.
Yes, you do, yeah.
When you're bored,
It's
hey,
right-
let's
it's
find
right
out how to
outside.
shoot up.
it's actually
He said it was cool. He said everybody was doing it.
it's actually a good blog, but he's been doing it for quite a while now, and he had photos and there's even videos of him just like shooting up and getting really out of it. Anyway,
That's so
what happened?
entertaining.
Yeah, that's always
It's interesting to watch, but what happened last week is that it's in Malaysia actually, and a Malay tabloid newspaper picked it up and put it on the headline as a headline on the front page, and the guy then got contacted by the authorities and he had to seek legal advice, and he's had no choice but to completely remove the posts from his website now, and he's a very, very lucky guy to get away with just that and not get
Is this one of the people that
investigated
you
more.
met when you were over Malaysia?
I've never actually met this guy, no.
He's just a connection.
He's a connection, yeah.
He's a connection. Yeah, I want to get connected.
But how do you feel about this as a freedom of speech issue versus not like giving kids?
It's an interesting
meds?
topic. My first view on it was that it's completely silly. Like it's almost a regulation of the web. But then, if you look at it another way, like this could be, if you put something on the web, it's the same as almost putting it on a newspaper, only an international one, and you're just broadcasting what you're doing, and you're probably going to get investigated. So.
Well, is there actual laws in Malaysia
Yeah.
about kind of spreading that kind of information? Because otherwise, what reason would they have for telling them to take it down?
It was sensationalism, I think, really that got it this time. I mean,
Well, that's
tabloid
pretty much a
newspapers.
police state, though, right?
that's
But didn't they like
A
get
bold
rid of
remark
their
to come out with.
opposition leader because he was like accused of buggery or something?
no, that was the guy that was in power at the time. But he was like, I think he was corrupt anyway, and they had to get him out some way.
Oh, that's okay then. Good thing they used that
It's corrupt.
honest method of like election.
Yeah, so let's just get rid of him anyway. Couldn't hire an
Well-
assassin that week, so it's just like, here I will stitch him up for something. Find the kid.
Yeah, the problem there at the moment is that in police, did you see the news about the Chinese girl doing the squats in the police station?
No.
Alright, that's a big news story. They made her strip, and they had this like, oh, you have to do squats in case you have any items lodged in your body. Like, that's completely silly.
Whoa.
That's a hospital examination.
Jesus,
Come on.
that's crazy.
And the police kind of chief didn't like come out and say, oh, this is completely wrong, I'm going to investigate this. He was trying to justify it. But to be fair, the main political leaders there were against it, and there's a bit of an outcry, and hopefully the guy will resign now.
That's interesting that you mention that because there's a big story in the media this week which I didn't include in the show because it's not really tech related, but you should really check it out. It's in my delicious links, and what it is this guy in the States was phoning up all these fast food outlets and pretending to be a policeman and saying there's somebody in your store right now who we suspect of like theft or drug dealing or whatever.
Right.
Take them into the back room, and then he'd get an employee to strip them and molest them. And he did this 70 times.
And people actually
Successfully. He did it successfully 70 times.
This is social engineering. Like,
It's social
But it's
engineering,
at its
but,
absolute
like-
like apex. Like he got one guy to like force a girl to give him a blowjob, and this guy was like just a manager of
What?
McDonald's, and the guy went through it, and the guy lost his girl, like his wife, and he lost his job. And the girl sued
Holy
McDonald's
shit.
and the guy, and like they're all fucked up as a result.
How was giving him a blowjob stopping terrorism?
That's the thing. Like it didn't. This guy was so convincing. He managed to get all these kind of
that is fucking class A social engineering.
When you think of it, so
That
It's
is
messed up. How the hell?
but the
Wow.
And you convince a guy to force a girl.
no, it sounds fucked up, and it is. But you have to remember, these people are like trained from day one to be the most conformist and to do whatever they're told. Blah blah. And the people who become the managers of McDonald's and Burger King, especially in the States, they're usually like only like secondary level education, and they're the most conformist members of staff.
They're just part of the machine.
Completely, they're like cogs. And this guy just played on that. He played on their fear of authority. He played on like the obedience that's like whipped into them. And he pretended to be an authority figure. And there were other things that he got them to do, which were even worse. So read the article, and it's a real wake up call about social engineering. And Jason's checking.
I'm just checking for time.
Do you have to run?
No, we've got a few minutes, like 5 minutes left.
Jason's got complaints.
Yeah. Let's move on to the media pin.
What's your media pimp?
Okay, my media pimp this week is a game called Cloud that EA Labs has released for free. So go download it, check it out.
That's why you were playing on the computer, was it?
Yeah.
Wow, it looked amazing.
Is that
It looked
sarcastic
cool,
or?
no, it actually looked cool. Like, it was like, wow, that looks really cool.
You just played an Xbox 360 and you come in here and say that looked cool. Okay,
looked
you
cool.
heard it first.
Better than the Xbox 360.
Xbox 360, no, I haven't really that much.
Yeah, we have one over the hall, and it's not impressive.
Graphics are like...
It's noisy as
they're
hell.
good.
They're
like
good, but
whatever,
they're not like
but
next gen, really. They're not mind
like
blowing.
it's not exactly mind blowing. It's like, oh, gripes. This is amazing. It's still nice
It's
to
probably
play.
when they know how to write games to actually take
Yeah,
advantage of it.
it's
Then
the
it'll
same
be better.
as like any of the consoles. It's the last about couple of months of it is when the really, really great games come out. Like graphics, they know how to
Yeah.
use it to maximum.
And then they're competing against the PC market again once it's reaching its midpoint and then it's downward spiral.
Yeah.
Then again, like I remember when the PlayStation 1 came out, going into a shop and seeing Tomb Raider like in glorious 3D, with Lara Croft, full free movement of camera and everything. I was amazed. Like, and that hasn't happened with this generation or the last generation. You didn't go in and see an Xbox running and go, Jesus, and you like dropped your drink and just shattered in slow motion or something.
Right.
There's nothing that's like mind blowing, and that's what next gen should be. It shouldn't be like, oh, I think there's slightly more polygons in Lara Croft's tits or whatever. It should be something amazing.
Evolution, not revolution.
Completely.
Anyway, we're almost like
Just
off topic
next
here because I didn't even explain what the game's about.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
most of
totally.
the game.
The game is like emotional. Like you're meant to cry when you're playing this game.
It's from sadness, not from anything else.
It's not
Frustration.
Not from like,
it's
shit, I'm not on level 50 squid in the tree.
I hate when you cry from frustration.
yeah.
You hate when I cry from frustration.
Oh, Francis.
Oh, Gary.
Yeah, the like. Okay.
Continue,
Wow,
Jason.
that's right.
The premise of the game is you move clouds around and then you just begin to cry as it's so beautiful.
But it's so hard to control. It's like not intuitive at all.
I think your menu is Control and Shift. That's what you're doing wrong.
Is it?
You have to press those when you're dragging the clouds around.
So you have to drag.
You kind of like
clouds.
yeah.
But like your mission is to like build the shape of a lollipop in clouds.
That's one of the missions. Yeah. There's another mission which is even more sappy. You have to clean the pollution from your land. The black pollution clouds are coming towards land. You should drag them away.
So sad.
It's made Jason cry. If you're a hippie, download it now. Francis, your media pimp is slightly different. From
As usual, yeah. Pornhacks.blogspot.com.
Porn!
Hacks. Yeah, I think you can guess.
Would you like to describe what this website is?
Yes, please
yeah, if you're having trouble finding smut, this will help you out. Simple as that.
So how does it help? What does it do?
It gives instructions on good programs and good techniques for finding dirty pictures.
Good techniques. Movies. You heard it here first. Francis gets all his good techniques from Pornhacks.blogspot.com.
Yeah, no, the half-top jack is for the techniques.
Oh, he's for actual three-dimensional women.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
3-dimensional.
Although I'm not sure I'd call it.
I can have cocked on. Oh!
I'm gonna beep that out.
Bird.
But anyway, my media pimp this week is boingboing.net, which if you haven't seen it, I think is the best website online. It's got everything we talk about on the show, which I've written down here as popular science, civil liberties, technologies, and much more. And it's got like lots of like doilies for your iPod and shit.
Doilies.
And it's got great stuff, and it's got some sucky stuff too. But it's a really amazing website. It's an aggregation of like everything that's cool on the web. Sarah, do you have anything you want to?
No.
We didn't really give you any warning, so that's not really fair. But yes, that's
Oh,
the end
actually, I
of
can
the show.
pimp Linux.ie because on their mailing list they've recently said that our site is dead, so we're just gonna shut it down and just have a mailing list, so there'll be no more Ireland site. So then people replied and said we should change it to a wiki because wikis are great. So now they're kind of just trying to decide if wikis just just kind of an excuse to put a wiki on the site because people will collaborate, and then people think that doesn't really
People
happen.
don't like it.
People think a wiki's just kind of jumping on the bandwagon.
Oh, I hate that. I don't think it is, to be honest. I don't agree with those people that do, like those people on blogs are like, oh, there's a new thing. The whole that whole argument was there when the web first came out. Oh, it's like only a fad, and it obviously
it's so not going. It's not
It'll
caught
never
on at
catch
all.
on.
And the same with
Jesus.
blogs as well. They're totally like they caught on it in corporate. They have enterprise applications. They have real life media uses now.
That same guy was there when they invented the wheel. He was like,
Yeah.
the wheel. You're right. I'll always walk.
I fucking like walking.
Fuck. It's not healthy.
I like carrying rocks.
If God invented us to wheel, we would have been born circular.
Exactly.
And look where he is now.
born with him. Exactly.
So like wikis are legend. We use
He got
wikis
run
every
over on the first hit and run.
by an irritated guy with wheels.
Exactly, just one guy pushes, like, stand in the bottom of the hill there.
Blood suck too.
Alright, nothing to see here.
But Dvorak did actually survive that attack and went on to be a famous comic.
What did he say? Blogs are bad.
Oh god, he said everything was bad.
Really?
Yeah, he always does that, and he's got a blog, doesn't he? Yeah. Shit, that I have to go.
That means that Jason has to
Jason
leave.
has to leave.
Run, Jason, run.
So we should wrap the show
We
up.
should wrap the show up. There's something else I wanted to mention actually related to your wiki thing. There's a new tech called WikiCalc, which is just being developed at the moment. It has the potential to revolutionize wikis, and of course wikis, they basically do what Tim Berners-Lee wanted the web to do from the start, which is be editable and be interactive and communicate. So this is it's going to combine the best things of wiki and the best things of Web 2.0, and it's going to be like you can have calculating elements on any page which can communicate with each other and store semantic data, and it's also fully editable, and it's also a web application which can sit on the server and be run from the server. It's really amazing. So you can read about that. I'll put a link to it on the site, and we'll put links to linux.ie.
Yep. If anybody wants to write any articles or got tips on Linux to put on the Linux.ie site, they're really crying out for people.
They're playing clown.
Yeah. It's like,
So thanks for watching and listening. We've been incredibly sexy individuals. Goodbye.
You've got an unhealthy glow sitting there, but I'm out in the air. That's your desktop background. I want to shut you down, let you slip.